Hello everyone, welcome to the Buzz the Prey Manga. Today we continue the latest Global Freeze chapter, rewritten and edited by me in English for a smooth reading experience. All visuals and story flow are personally edited to give you the best manga style storytelling. Support the original creator by checking the official manga. So let's dive right into the today's chapter.
Chapter 2846 Internal and External Attacks. Little girl, I know your abilities. Your arrows are very powerful, but if you can't hit me, then they're useless. Jing Meng sneered. In this position, he can control a thing and, of course, he can also prevent Yang Xinxin's arrows from hitting him. Yang Xinxin showed no panic. She calmly said to Zhang Yi, she can indeed turn nothingness into reality, and then turn reality back into nothingness. Is there a solution? Zhang Yi asked. If you have a method, use yours first. If not, use mine. Yang Xinxin curled her lips into a smile. I've already discovered the flaws in his abilities. Zhang Yi's eyes lit up. As expected of Yang Xinxin, she found the opponent's weakness so quickly. Yang Xinxin said, he's not truly helpless in the dream. At least the rule-based abilities formed from my longing can still function in the dream. Therefore, when faced with my meme arrows, his choice is to dodge rather than catch them. In other words, he cannot set rules to disable our abilities. Given this, Yang Xinxin knew that she had plenty of room to maneuver. If it's just about stalling for time, it's not particularly difficult. The fallen puppet's arm glowed with a dazzling gold, and it simultaneously rolled up a long black robe of judgment. He forcefully pulled the bowstring open with his thick, pale arms, and a golden energy condensed in front of the arrow. Let's change the world, Yang Xinxin suddenly said. The arrows were released, and streaks of golden light surged into the sky like fireworks, then rapidly fell across the world like a falling star. The arrows fell into the vast plains, the sea, the rivers, and even struck the prehistoric behemoths created in the dream. Any substance hit, whether organic or inorganic, undergoes a mosaic-like change in the body, as if the substance has been reorganized. The once vast prehistoric world was suddenly cut into countless tiny blocks, like building blocks. The great orb descended. The Yuan became a mountain peak. The mountain peak became a deep valley, rising and falling, and then stacked up again to form an enormous labyrinth. Experience the fun of the game. This is my brand new ability, and its name is... Yang Xinxin thought for a moment and said casually, let's call it Minecraft. Yang Xinxin, codenamed Westwangmu in mythology, possesses the cunning ability to manipulate all things in the world at will, the fallen puppet. As for her superpower index also increased at an astonishing speed to 61,000 points, reaching the Black Knight level, similar to Zhang Yixiang's. She once said, your ability index is rising too slowly because you lack talent, while mine is because I lack interest. Skilled at using her intellect to fight, she finally let go of her stubbornness and pride and chose to develop her own special abilities when the situation became increasingly dangerous and Zhang Yi's burden became heavier. This time, however, the development progressed rapidly. Don't forget, back in Tianyu Palace, of the 4 guardian knights of the Yihan clan, one chose Zhang Yi, one chose Ichigar, and the other 2 chose Yang Xinxin. This clearly demonstrates just how extraordinary her talent is. Boom! As the speed of light decreased, the entire world seemed to be reassembled by Yang Xinxin. Moreover, it's not just one level. It's a massive, 3-dimensional maze. As the 2 continued to sink, Yang Xinxin said to Zhang Yi, he can take away our control over the dream and manipulate a part of it, but the foundation is still the dream that the 2 of us created. Yang Xinxin continued, in dreams, my ability to reshape the world will be maximized. It might be difficult to kill her, but it would be easy to hide ourselves so that she can't find us in the stacked world. Zhang Yi nodded. Very good, let's continue like this. We have prepared enough backup plans to buy them enough time. Now it's up to them to see if they can execute my plan perfectly. If even that plan fails, I'll have no choice but to resort to my last resort. Although it would cause his counterattack plan to fail completely, it would definitely save his and Yang Xinxin's lives. Seeing the methods Yang Xinxin displayed, Jingmeng couldn't help but exclaim in amazement. Someone can actually perform such a perfect step in a dream. Her mental strength is so powerful that it may not be inferior to our nightmare clan. Unfortunately, she will die soon. Yelling in her sleep, she darted through the labyrinth of her dream, destroying everything in her path, in search of the two tiny, hidden humans. I know what you're trying to do. Buy time and wait for someone outside to wake you up. But unfortunately, what if the one attacking you right now isn't me? He was right, because at this moment, the entire Sky Sea Fortress had been dragged to another space by Barbo Tower's ability to activate the 18 levels of hell. 3 powerful Black Knights were already waiting there, and Zhang Yi, whom they feared most, was now in a deep sleep, being hunted down by a nightmare. With 3 Black Knights from different races joining forces and the enemy's main force lost, the outcome of this battle was obvious no matter how you looked at it. Even if Zhang Yi's soul cannot be erased, his physical body can be eliminated, thus ensuring his death. Edward, a vampire, has long blonde hair and skin that is eerily pale. He toyed with an old-fashioned flintlock pistol in his hand, then leisurely raised his hand and aimed at the Sky Sea Fortress in the distance. That enormous black fortress, like a giant black beetle, lay prostrate on the ground. There's no way this single mechanical fortress can stop the 3 of us, Edward said with a smile. In the other 2 directions, the massive body of the spider demon Rant was submerged in burning lava. He let out a chilling roar, and suddenly his entire body erupted with a black light. Immediately afterwards, the enormous body that was already over 10 meters tall began to expand rapidly. Boom! Its limbs shattered the giant earth, and its body crashed through the clouds. In no time, its body swelled to more than 300 meters tall. It was even taller than the top of the Sky Sea Fortress, its majestic body resembling a sitting super biological turret. This monster's head has more than 100 eyes, which are like more than 100 powerful superpowered cannons, sometimes shining with a dazzling red light, and energy fluctuations are accumulating. Inside the command center, Lu Karen, as planned, assumed the role of overall battlefield commander, while Zhang Yi and Yang Xinxin fell into a deep sleep. Chapter 2847. Ling Yu stared at the ever-increasing fluctuations in the energy level on the screen, and couldn't help but swallow hard. With the combined attack of powerful Black Knights, even if the Sky Sea Fortress tries to block it, it will likely suffer heavy damage. She took a deep breath and shouted into the communication channel, Luo Qiaoxian, Shun Fengshen, please help me. Luo Qiao and Shun Feng, who had been preparing for this battle in the Tianhai Fortress, simply replied calmly and firmly, okay. Luo Qiao and Shun Feng charged into Tianhai Fortress, blocking the path of several powerful warriors at the level of Black Knights. Upon seeing the 2 of them, Edward's face showed a moment of astonishment. Although they knew that the powerful members of the Spirit Clan and the Abyss Clan were allied with Zhang Yi, they did not know that they were actually hiding in Zhang Yi's Sky Sea Fortress. This incident led them to make some misjudgments regarding combat capabilities. However, if Zhang Yi's allies are only these 2 Black Knight-level powerhouses, it is not enough to turn the tide of the battle. Edward's face even showed a hint of ruthlessness. Everyone here now must die. You chose to stand with the 6 generations, so die here with them. Because if anyone were to escape from here, exposing their betrayal of their allies, they too would be punished, an outcome they could not accept. Upon hearing Edward's words, Locke's face revealed a sinister smile. Kill me? Can you do it? Shun Feng remained silent, his eyes coldly fixed on the person in front of him. Edward didn't say a word, but simply pulled the trigger in his hand, and an eternal light burst forth from the flintlock rifle. In an instant, Luo Qiao, who was still more than 10 kilometers away, was suddenly hit by that beam of light, and his body flew backward violently. He didn't see the bullet marks on Edward. The moment he pulled the trigger, the shot seemed to have already hit him, leaving him no way to dodge. Edward, a vampire, has an alien index of 6,400 and the ability to always hit. This is the force of causality. When he locks onto a target and pulls the trigger, his bullet will definitely hit the target. However, after being hit by the bullet, Luck landed steadily on the ground. His body wasn't pierced. Instead, a large fish formed from a spirit suddenly burrowed through his chest, then fell to the ground, bounced twice, and then completely dissipated. Oh, it seems you possess a rather magical power of substitution. A playful glint flashed in Edward's eyes. Luo Qiao patted his shirt and said calmly, "The power of causality. Is that it? Very interesting, but it's not enough to kill me." As he spoke, a burst of intense white light suddenly erupted from his eyes, the light almost like a giant light bulb inside his body, making his body nearly transparent. Glug, glug, glug. His body's surface rippled violently, and suddenly, one after another, enormous, transparent fish emerged from within his body. Those fish were only the size of carp at first, but they grew as the wind blew, and then they transformed into one huge whale after another. Lochte maneuvered the whales and charged directly at Edward in the distance. His own body, however, fell to the ground like a puppet. The spirit race can transform themselves into spirits and even divide their souls to form countless avatars. Before your spear can shatter any of my spirit avatars, you will be devoured by me," Luo Qiao said coldly. Those enormous spirit fish swiftly traversed the space and arrived in front of Edward. Edward raised an eyebrow, and the blade in his hand continuously emitted one sharp glint after another. In the blink of an eye, dozens of enormous spirit fish had been shot down, but even more spirit fish had surrounded his body, then opened their mouths wide and launched a ferocious attack. With a snap, a whale opened its jaws and lunged at Edward's body. Edward's body surface was covered by a powerful, incredibly thick shield. However, this shield was almost nothing in the face of the spirit fish's attack and could not stop it at all. An attack that has become a spirit cannot be defended against by ordinary defensive methods. If your causality is an inescapable destiny, then my giant fish is an indiscriminate devouring of the soul, ignoring all defenses. With a plop, the big fish bit into Edward's body. Although Edward dodged in time, half of his body was still bitten hard. He was very fast, but for some reason, the big fish's teeth still touched his body. But he felt no pain, and his body was not injured. However, for some reason, he felt as if his soul had suddenly become empty. What kind of attack is this? Edward was stunned for a moment. Even though I've been hit, it feels like I haven't been hit at all. Even though I'm not injured, it feels like I've suffered a very serious injury, as if a piece of my existence is missing. Locke transformed into countless enormous spirit fish, merely smiling silently, for his attack was not on Edward's body, but on his very being. When his existence is gradually eroded away, he will completely disappear from this world. That's right, it's the disappearance of existence, not death. Means to be completely forgotten by everyone. On the other side, Lu Karen said to Shunfeng, "Shunfeng, please deal with that spatial wielder. As for that spider demon, with my control of the Skysea Fortress and the combined power of all the spatial wielders within it, we can still put up a fight." However, the Noral tribe's Maboda is a space master with powerful spatial abilities, someone I am not capable of handling. Shunfeng spoke very little. He simply nodded slowly. That head, which looked somewhat simple and honest, even had an extremely thick neck. His eyes were fixed on the distant Berta. "Your opponent is me." Berta smiled faintly, and with a wave of his hand, conjured more than a dozen other dimensional spaces in front of him. "You can't even get close to my body, so what makes you think you can be my enemy?" Before he could finish speaking, a loud sonic boom suddenly erupted in the space in front of him. It was as if his entire body had been hit head-on by an interstellar warship, and he was sent flying hundreds of kilometers away. The people of Berta were dumbfounded. What's wrong? He didn't see it at all, nor did he even realize how the other party did it. Suddenly, a force struck his body, sending him flying. Even the spatial shield protecting his body was violently distorted, as if it had been shattered. Chapter 2848 Light Speed Fist. How powerful must this attack be to shatter even space? Barboda's body was unharmed. His spatial barrier was an excellent defensive mechanism. In terms of pure spatial power control, he was someone who could go toe-to-toe with Zhang Yi. In the distance, the giant body of Shunfeng leaped through the air. His body stretched out in midair, and the heavy armor unfolded layer by layer, revealing its true form. It still had that somewhat ugly yet imposing head, but its limbs were now nearly twice as long as before, making it look robust and agile, especially its enormous fists, which were almost larger than its body. "What exactly did you just do?" Barberta asked in astonishment. Shunfeng didn't say anything, and in an instant, Barberta was once again violently sent flying. That powerful force was hitting his torso, causing the protective layer of space coating on his body to tremble violently and develop strong cracks. "Something is hurtling towards me from the front. It's a physical attack. How did he do that? Why didn't I see anything? Is it none?" Barberta is invisible to the naked eye and cannot be seen by consciousness. He immediately commanded the intelligence system. "Play back at 100,000 times slow speed. Let me see what exactly happened." He roared, and the combat suit's intelligence system immediately began replaying the previous footage. Only through extremely slow motion frame by frame could one finally see one thing clearly. Shunfeng didn't do anything unnecessary. He simply threw a punch at him from several kilometers away. That enormous and terrifying thing was more like a curved claw than a fist. It then punched, releasing a shockwave that struck his body's defensive layer from a distance. It was that simple. "What do you mean?" Barberta was completely stunned. As a terrestrial race, they had very little interaction with the deep-sea races and naturally had no idea what the Abyss race was. It's more accurate to describe it as a community than a race. The Abyss clan has a particularly large number of biological species, and Shunfeng comes from the Anomalocaris clan of the Abyss clan. The most distinctive feature of this race is their unparalleled punching speed throughout the entire deep sea. In ancient times, when they were favored by the Creator and evolved into intelligent humans, they relied on their fists to dominate the seabed. An adult Anomalocaris can unleash a Mach-level punch in the water. As one of the strongest members of the Anomalocaris clan, Xuanfeng's power is extremely simple and pure, light speed fist. What you keep in mind will eventually come to pass. To refine any kind of power to its extreme is to produce astonishing power. Xuanfeng's speed reaches 1,000 times the speed of sound, which is almost impossible to detect with the naked eye or even with human consciousness. It's no wonder that Barberta was beaten so badly and was unable to defend itself. "Watch me." With a wave of his hand, Barba created layers of spatial barriers around himself, concealing himself within the space and making him impossible to see clearly. You'd better experience the eightfold hell. A gigantic spatial gate opened violently before them, shooting straight for tens of thousands of miles, as if forming a vast world that completely encompassed Shunfeng. Shunfeng remained silent, raising his two incredibly thick pincers with utter indifference, coldly gazing at what lay ahead with disdain. Boom! After a giant flash of light, what appeared before us was a fiery hell. Endless flames burned as Barberta's figure appeared in the distance, staring at Shunfeng with a look of apprehension. The deep-sea race must fear this kind of magma sea the most. His idea was simple. Just as terrestrial creatures fear the deep-sea creatures would naturally hate places where water is extremely scarce. He maintained an extremely long distance between himself and Shunfeng, more than 100 kilometers apart. "Beyond this distance, I don't believe your fists can even reach me." Shunfeng remained silent, feeling the scorching, dry air, his face still expressionless. "Magma abyss? You seem to have no understanding of the deep sea, because deep within the ocean, there is also fire." As the strongest warrior of the Sea Abyss clan, Shunfeng underwent the most brutal training at the bottom of the deep sea from a young age, all so that one day, when all races were revived, he could carve out a vast territory for the Sea Abyss clan. This clumsy trick posed no threat to him whatsoever. His leg muscles suddenly bulged. "I'm going to go." Bang! If a bullet leaves the barrel, the person is instantly killed on the spot because the speed is too fast to be seen with the naked eye. Barberta vaguely sensed something rushing towards him. He immediately activated the AI combat system on his suit to monitor the opponent's movement in real time. However, the AI system urgently gave a prompt. The opponent's movements are too fast, and we cannot respond in time. With a loud boom, a lightning-fast punch slammed into Barboda's protective shield in a simple and straightforward manner. Crack, crack. The defensive layer formed by space cracked open in such a simple and unadorned way. One force can overcome all laws. No one knows that the strongest warrior of the Sea Abyss clan is actually the most underestimated enhancement-type power user. However, any force, if pushed to its extreme, can cause devastating effects. That layer of spatial shield was directly broken through. When Barbo looked up again, Shunfeng was already in front of him. I spent 1,000 years training my legs to be as fast as my naturally gifted pincers. Nothing can break through my defenses, and speed is my only advantage. Anomalocaris doesn't have many special abilities, except for its incredibly fast fists and its long lifespan. They could theoretically live for thousands of years if they did not die naturally. Throughout these 1,000 years, Shunfeng has always done one thing: hone his body and continuously enhance his strength and speed. Apart from individuals like Zhang Yi, who possess spatial abilities that almost defy physics and time-related abilities that foresee the future, no one else can imagine what kind of person could possibly fight him head-on. Barboda's biggest mistake was that, as a spatial magic user, instead of strategizing from the shadows, he chose to fight him head-on one-on-one. Go to hell. No one saw how Shunfeng raised his fist, nor did anyone see how it landed. As soon as he finished speaking, that terrifying attack slammed into Barboda's body.
Tell me in the comments which part you enjoyed the most. If you love manga style stories, don't forget to like the video and subscribe the Buzz Play Manga. See you in the next chapter with more surprises.